Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. The offensive line should be fielding its best five this weekend for the first time this year. Plus, the Rams are in last place in the Green Action League. I'll let you know how you can help. And later, primetime is SoFi. Nothing like it. We preview Eagles at Rams. Let's rock.
This is Rams Showcase with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome to it, Rams Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Bags at Rams Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. That's where you can follow along. Also, to let you know, I am still looking for help here on Rams Showcase. If that's something you are interested in, you think you can bring something to the table, well, go ahead and hit me on up. I'll let you know that what I am kind of looking for here is potentially a social media help, as well as somebody who can maybe clip out parts of the episode, social media stuff. So if you think that that's something you can bring in, of course, reach out to me. ramshowcase@gmail.com is the best way to do that. But yeah, let's have a conversation. And obviously, it's not just helping me out. We help out back and forth, all right? So if that's something you can provide, something you think you can provide, hey, let's have a conversation and let's talk about it. The Green Action League will be closing up on December 1st. We've got all the details, though, on how you can get involved, what the Green Action League is, and all that good stuff, as we did have Brittany Ramos of the Los Angeles Rams stop in and answer some questions so that you can hop into the action and score some sweet prizes. But that conversation, we'll be having that with her here shortly. And then, of course, on the backside, Rams back at SoFi for prime time as the Eagles come into town. So we'll give you a full game preview, let you know what to watch there. Let's go ahead and get into the business, though. Big Bad Bo Limmer. That's what I'm starting with today, because I've been fully in the camp that Jonah Jackson should be the starter. We signed him to be the starter at center. We kind of felt like Avila could be maybe center, and then Jonah Jackson left guard, and then it's kind of been a mix-up there. And then, of course, we saw the string of injuries that the Rams had to start the season, and Bo Limmer, 6th-round rookie out of Arkansas, thrust into the starting lineup. And you know what? Started the season like you would expect a 6th-round rookie to come in to the NFL, which is some growing pains there, some things that he's still picking up and learning. But over the course of the season so far, we are only going into Week 12, so we've only played 10 games. But even in just 10 NFL games, and he didn't even get the bulk of those, because I think it was, Week 1 was when we were losing some guys still. He didn't start in the game a few weeks ago against Miami, and then did start. He did come back in later in the game against Miami, but then did start in New England. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Bo Limmer, Big Bad Bo Limmer, playing really good football, and there's no reason now, and I'm part of the camp now that, yeah, we just need to go ahead and roll with Bo Limmer at center. I'm on that side now, because, you know what, I think that ultimately it's a continuity thing. Do I think that Jonah Jackson is maybe the better offensive lineman? I do. I really do think that. We've seen him in Detroit. He's a very good player. I feel like we're kind of forgetting that aspect of it, but the continuity that Bo Limmer has with Matthew Stafford and the rest of this offense and other guys such as Big Rob on the outside to his left, or even K-Dot right next to him, stuff like that. They've been working well together. K-Dot's the one that, helps him with the silent count and all that business. But then obviously we've got Jackson on the side there. And then Dittich was playing awesome as well, but I do think that there is a pretty large upgrade going from Dittich to Steve Avila, although Dittich, again, undrafted free agent, did more than we could have ever had hoped for in that setting. We're at 500 now, finally getting healthy, potentially getting our offensive line together for the first time, and I'm considering Bo Limmer part of our top 5 on the offensive line, which is going to be A.J. Jackson, Steve Avila, Bo Limmer, Kevin Dotson, and then Big Rob Havenstein on the right tackle spot. So I think that is the best offensive line that the Rams can field today. But I also do think that there is potentially room for Jonah Jackson to slip in somewhere. And he's also a versatile player. We know that the Rams like to go with versatile players, people who can play either like both tackle slots, tackle and guard, or guard and center, and kind of mix around there. The Rams really, really make a push for guys who can do that kind of thing. But realistically, man, this team just felt different, and they were right. The Bo Limmer needed to be the starter. So I'm absolutely willing to admit that I was saying that, yes, no reason to start Bo Limmer. We have Jonah Jackson back. We have our starters back. Play our starters. I'm backpedaling that now. You can call it backpedaling. You can call it whatever. I'm admitting I was wrong, and I'm rolling with Bo Limmer in my heart now for the rest of the season. And obviously, we know anything can happen at any time, and I like that we've got a guy in Jonah Jackson who's on the sideline, who, if we did need to help out, can certainly do so. But Bo Limmer back in the fold on offense gave the Rams offensive line another big day, and does just, I think, need to continue playing. We did mention Steve Avila. He has only allowed one pressure in his 2 games that he has returned into the starting lineup over Justin Didich. But again, Justin Didich did an incredible job, and no reason to think that anything about him, or like, well, it's like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy or anything. But also, Steve Avila, I mean, he's a top tier player on this offensive line. So we got to keep rolling with him for sure. And like I said, Big Rob coming back, not like Warren McClendon, though, did a poor job in New England. So I'm liking the depth that the Rams have on the offensive line now as we continue to get healthier. We're seeing that not only are our top guys coming back, but those guys who we needed are getting very, very valuable experience and are now very solid backups for the Rams. You can never have too many offensive linemen. We know that, I feel like, more than some other teams do. We've seen a string of, or we can even go back to some St. Louis years where it's like, we don't have enough guys. Like, I don't know what year it was. I'd have to really dig into the brain tank over here, but there was a year where we were signing guys on Friday and starting them on Sunday in St. Louis, and it was just like, it's not going to go well, is it? Like, who knows? But it didn't. Spoiler alert. I don't know if you were going to go back and watch, but either way, man, 6th round pick Bo Limmer just feels like one of the steals of the draft, if not the steal of the draft, considering how he's playing and our expectations coming into the season for him. Nobody thought that Bo Limmer was going to be this kind of player. Love to see it. And this does. I'm saying he's the steal of the draft, and that includes guys like Cam Kinchins, unbelievable, Braden Fisk, top tier, and even Jared Verse, who I feel like as we continue to watch his rookie season unfold, we even in that slot in the teens are looking like that's probably a steal as well. So even though he was the first round pick for the Rams in the last, what feels like 87 years, but him being not a top 10 pick is starting to feel like quite a steal as well. The Rams, though, they do continue to hit on those late picks, and the question will eventually be, the attention will eventually turn to, is that sustainable? To continue to just nail late round picks and UDFAs like the Rams have done, because you got Jalen McCullough in there and Omar Spates, Justin Didich, people who were contributing, not just needing to get some reps in here, but like changing games. And you absolutely love to see that. Is that sustainable though? I mean, maybe not, but while it's happening, it is pretty awesome. And it does allow the Rams some wiggle room when building a roster, when you have some, what I'll call cheap players, contract-wise, and then obviously under those rookie contracts. And then you can fit in some veterans who are maybe bigger scheme fits or just, guys who you can bring in. But the FA route, though, the free agency route, it has not been hitting as much as we would want it to, obviously. The draft classes are coming in and hiding some of those additions, I would say. But the free agency route, it's getting a lot more hate than the draft process, that's for sure. But also, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people rip Jonah Jackson apart right now, and I think that's absurd. All right, the Rams, they're ripping the Rams for signing him. They're ripping him because it's like, hey, I got all this money. He's not even doing anything. It's like, well, first of all, he was hurt. Maybe he's got some rust that he just needed to knock off, and maybe he would be better if we continued to stick with him. But there's no possible way that the Rams knew that when Jonah was signed that there was going to be a 6th-round rookie out of Arkansas who was going to just be just an absolute brick wall and just be top tier. He's had his mistakes. Let's not throw that out there. But being a 6th-round rookie, I mean, you anticipate mistakes, and we don't throw you under the bus for any of that. But Limmer didn't even start, or he didn't even earn the starting job in camp or anything, or in preseason, because obviously we brought in Jonah Jackson, high dollar free agent. But he was forced to play, obviously, by the injury, which is never good. But there was a pretty sick quarterback in Rams history that probably we would have never known about without a key injury to one Trent Green. So maybe we should just wait to see how things unfold before we just snap judgments. Pointing the finger myself on that one, all right? That's A-okay. Moving on, transactions here. The Rams did release punter Ty Zentner from the practice squad. Sorry about that block, Ty. That was terrible blocking, man. You did an awesome job in relief of one Ethan Evans, who is going to hit the ISS out of the sky one day. Also, the Rams did sign cornerback A.J. Green to the practice squad. The cornerback A.J. Green to the practice squad. And again, the bouncing back and forth continues to happen for Mr. Troy Hill, former Rams cornerback, signing back with the Buccaneers active roster. Let's go ahead and dive in to our the rest of the West. Time to see what those other three dweebs are up to. The Arizona Cardinals, still sitting in first place in the NFC West with a 6-4 record. They are 2-0 in the division, though, so still 4 to go in that realm. They're on a 4-game win streak and coming off a bye, so should be rested, should be motivated. We'll see what kind of happens. Division game this week, though, as they do start their post-bye week stretch in Seattle, in Minnesota, home versus Seattle, and then they are going to be at home versus New England, in Carolina, at our Los Angeles Rams, and then home for the 49ers. So definitely a tough stretch there. Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle. Tough. That could be 3 losses. New England, they played the crap out of the Rams, so you got to be keep your eyeballs on that. In Carolina, I'm not going to talk trash about the Panthers. At the Rams, that's an impossible game. And at home versus the Niners, who are obviously a strong team as well, and division games are just a disaster, usually. Rams sitting in second place, calling back up 5-5, 2-1 in the division. And the Rams will see all 3 NFC West teams in the last 4 weeks of the season. So we got 1 game against all of them left. 2-1 in the division now, though. The other games for the Rams outside of the division, which are going to be very critical, and the first 3 are the next 3 in a row. We got the Eagles, the Saints, the Bills. Those are going to be tough games. And we got 1 division game, and then the Jets. So Jets, they're kind of a toss-up team. They play hard, but they're just not very good. I'm not trying to trash anybody, all right? I'm trying to be adamant about that. But the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, this week, tough matchup in New Orleans. The New Orleans, those fans hate us with a deep-seated passion. So that's always going to be a tough place to play until that memory kind of begins to fade. But we'll see how long that takes. But tough games ahead for the Rams, but in a spot to definitely win this division. We'll talk about playoff race here in just a second. Seattle Seahawks. Also 5-5, but they are 1-2 in the division. The Rams did beat the Seahawks earlier this year. They're coming off that win against San Fran. It was in San Fran. Also, though, that was off the bye, so we'll see what happens there. The Seahawks remaining stretch, they're hosting Arizona. They are at the New York Jets. Then they are in Arizona, home versus the Packers, home versus the Vikings, in Chicago, and then ending at our Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium. Again, impossible game. I don't know how you look at that and have any confidence. San Francisco 49ers. This is something that I'm going to just... I don't know how long we're going to be able to hold on to this, okay? I don't know how long that this is going to be a thing, but I want to sit in this for just a second and just kind of soak it in, because this next thing that I'm about to say is about to be incredible, all right? Heading into Week 12 of the 2024 NFL season, the San Francisco 49ers currently sit in last place in the NFC West. It feels good, you know. It's like telling your family you just got engaged, but better. They're coming off a loss to the Seattle Seahawks. They've won the previous 2 games though by a total of 9 points. So they're the previous 2 by a total of 9 points. So they're getting in some pretty tight matchups right now. They're getting healthy, but we're starting to see those articles and different things start to come out where they're saying like, hey, is the 49ers Super Bowl window closed? They're 500 heading into Week 12 in last place in their division. Is it? I don't know. We'll have to kind of see. Obviously, lots of things to shake on out. But the 49ers, the rest of their schedule, they are in Green Bay this week. Very tough game. Then in Buffalo, again, tough game. Home versus the Chicago Bears. They are going to then host the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football in Miami, Monday Night Football versus the Lions, and then in Arizona. That's a tough stretch. We really might see the 49ers miss the playoffs this season. And you know what? Good. Let's take a look at the playoff race right now, though. If the season ended today, the Rams would not be playing in a playoff game, but the Rams are currently sitting in the 17th pick in the first round. No second round pick for the Rams this coming year. And I think the third round pick was sitting at like 89 or something like that. But we're not talking draft stuff right now because the Rams are also the first team out of the playoffs in the wild card race, which I know I've been kind of hammering in a little bit that maybe wild card's not the path. Maybe wild card is not the way that the Rams make the playoffs. Maybe it's division. We're right there in both, though. We are technically closer in taking the lead in our own division, and because also we play the team that's ahead of us. The team that is currently right ahead of the Rams sitting in a playoff spot, the final wild card slot, is a team the Rams do not play. So yes, I do still think that division is where I think my attention's going, and you can look at whatever you want to. Obviously, never going to tell you how to be a fan. There's no wrong way to root for the Rams, all right? But the Washington Commanders are sitting in that 3 slot now, but with a 7-4 record. So we only do have one more loss than them, but obviously they have 2 more wins. We'll see what happens. Their bye week is, I actually don't know, but they with no head-to-head though, because like I said, we do not play against Washington. Just ahead of Washington is the Green Bay Packers at 7-3. The Packers have the head-to-head in that series against the Rams. And then that number 1 wild card slot right now is the Minnesota Vikings because they are behind Detroit at 8-2. And the Rams do have the head-to-head there, but we're 3 games behind them. So I'm not sure if that will come into play. I think division is going to be very, very critical. And I mean, we're talking NFC West here. The Rams is sitting just outside at 5-5. Seattle just behind 5-5. San Fran just behind 5-5. Tampa Bay also no slouches, but sitting at 4-6. They have some work to do, but Baker Mayfield out there, he's going to bake, all right? And I will always be a massive Baker Mayfield supporter ever since he did what he did to the Vegas Raiders on Thursday Night Football. He's got my support for eternity, all right? You show up 48 hours ahead of time and then get a 98-yard game-winning touchdown drive? Dude, yep, you're good in my book forever, dude. You got a free pass, man. You're good. But ultimately, Rams not out of the wild card race, but why not shoot for the home game? And I feel like a lot of fans are talking about, the wild card race. And it's like, okay, well, Minnesota, what if they crumble? We need them to fall apart. We need Green Bay to really fall apart. Washington, we've seen them be beatable by teams, and so who knows what's going to happen there. But you're playing a road game if you get a wild card slot. So why not just, I think that's why I think my brain is going towards the divisional race here, because I just think that would be a more realistic way. And also, SoFi playoff, dude, top tier. That's pinnacle stuff, man. It doesn't get much better than that. But the Rams also played the heck out of the Packers at SoFi. So obviously, like, if we're looking at winning this division, that would slip into the 4 slot, probably going to be the final of the division winners, whoever the NFC West leader is. And so you look at current matchup would be Minnesota in LA if the Rams were in the 4th slot, obviously. I know Arizona's leading the division, but if the Rams were in that slot, it would be hosting Minnesota, who the Rams already beat at home. And don't give me that face mask stuff, all right? We can talk about it briefly. The Minnesota Vikings scored 6 points past their first 2 drives. They didn't lose because of a missed call, okay? The Rams were just a better team that day. And then the Rams played the heck out of the Packers at SoFi Stadium. I know because I was there, dude. It was awesome. Really good time, by the way. But the way that the Rams defense was playing in that game, top tier. You take away a couple of big plays, and that's maybe Rams win, all right? And also, let's not forget, against the Packers, we were still pretty beat up at that time. No Puka, no Cooper, like bunch of offensive linemen backups in. So it would be a different matchup if the Packers needed to come to town again. But ultimately, I would say this. The Rams are in a decent spot. Decent spot. Not the best spot, all right, but a decent spot. Because considering this team was sitting at 1-4 not very long ago, To be in the thick of not only the division race, but also the wild card race heading into week 12, I think that's really all you can ask for. To be in these conversations in week 12, having started 1-4 and super beat up at the start of the season, this is the best it can get right now. And I think that we're in a really good spot to hopefully do something that this team was able to do last year, which is really turn it on mid to late season and go on a bit of a run and make the playoffs. Once you make the playoffs, all bets are off, dude. You're getting healthy, your young defense is on fire, and let's not forget the defense wins championships. If this defense can continue to play the way that it is playing, I absolutely see playoffs in this team's future. And again, you make it to the dance. Get an invite to the dance. You close the deal later, dude. But step one, get to the dance. So that's kind of where my mind's at right now. And then once you get there, there's obviously some really good NFC teams. It's going to be hard. Playoff runs are hard. We've seen it plenty of times. The Rams, the 2018 year and the 2021 year, those were not cakewalk playoff runs. To beat the Cardinals was a cakewalk, but to beat the Bucks and the Niners in that playoff run, that was tough. And then the Bengals, obviously a tough game. And then you look at the 2018 run. Let me see if I can remember this right. I think it was Cardinals again. I want to say that Dallas and then New Orleans. So, those were tough games, though. The ground game against Dallas was really rolling. CJ Anderson and TG just went off that day, but some good stuff. But obviously, you just got to get to the dance. It's going to be hard no matter what, so get in. That's step one. And Stafford, we got Matthew Stafford out here, dude. If Matthew Stafford can keep it rolling, I think that this defense is good enough, and he is good enough with Puka and Cooper to be able to get it rolling and possibly make a run. So I'm not sitting here saying that this is hey, Super Bowl or bust or anything like that, because that's crazy. We're in week 12. It's beat the Eagles or bust right now is where my head's at. But ultimately, I do think that this team is in a position to make some noise here as we creep into the back end of the season here, which is very, very exciting. We had an interview, Brittany Ramos. We'll get into that here briefly, but quick though, time to talk about today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. UnderdogFantasy.com is where you get signed up. That promo code is going to be Showcase, but Underdog is the place to play if you are a sports fan. And good news, dude. Rams play Sunday Night Football, man. Make Sunday day more exciting. You get into it, man. Start slapping some selections in there, and try to make some bucks, dude, ahead of Sunday Night Football. That sounds like it'd be absolutely perfect, man, for sure. So it doesn't matter if you think that Lamar Jackson, his rushing picks are pretty awesome usually, and I feel pretty good when I pick on Lamar's rushing numbers. You say he's going to get higher than 1.5 rushing touchdowns too, dude? Absolutely. Lock me in, man. And also the red zone rush. You're not going to find anything like this, dude. It's absolutely so much fun. Big fan of this one, man. You just pick whether or not a player will score a touchdown. You swipe right for yes, left for no. We've all been there. You know how that game goes. It's super easy, but now we're talking about touchdowns, which is way more exciting than that other stuff, man. Also available in 33 states. Yes, LA. That does include you. California is included. Underdog is the best place to play your pick'em. So sign up now and deposit using promo code Showcase. You get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Absolutely awesome. My favorite part of the app, simplicity. I'm an old man when it comes to these new apps. All right, I want to try to figure your stuff out. But Underdog, downloaded that, and I was playing so fast. Big fan of that. You type in LOS enter. It's going to pull up the Rams game. You can start making those picks really, really fast, all right? And that's, again, my favorite way to do it. Download the app today. Use promo code Showcase. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That is promo code Showcase for up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Higher or lower, you make the call on Underdog. Real fast, we do have a game preview that is going to be headed your way here soon. But first, I have a conversation with Brittany Ramos, the Senior Director, Partnership Marketing with the Los Angeles Rams. Super, super cool. Brittany to take some time to sit and talk with me. Such a fun conversation. And to learn about the Green Action League, which I didn't know anything about. I got reached out to, and they kind of gave me this information, and I started getting excited about it, man, because not only are there fun ways to kind of get involved and kind of participate with the Rams. And also take down other teams, dude. I'm from Colorado out here, so it's going against teams like the Nuggets and the Avalanche, which I know you other sports fans out in LA, you hate them. You want to take them down, right? So help out the Rams, recyclingrams.com. But Brittany Ramos, almost 6 years now working for the Los Angeles Rams, about 8.5 years of experience working with the Rams, Chargers and Dolphins experience in there as well, and also some New Jersey Devils experience, dude. So former Colorado team. That was the former Colorado Rockies moved out there. So let's go ahead and get into our conversation. Brittany Ramos, the Senior Director of Partnership Marketing for the Los Angeles Rams. Sheriff Joe Baggs here, host of the Rams Showcase podcast. And joining me today, I have Brittany Ramos of the Los Angeles Rams. Brittany, thank you so much for taking some time and chatting with me today.
Of course. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you've been with the Rams now for a few years, correct?
Almost 6. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely. And not leaving anytime soon, right?
No.
Okay, good. And you have some other NFL experience as well, is that correct?
I do. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to work for a couple different organizations, but have really enjoyed my time here at the Rams over almost the past 6 years, which I can't believe. And, got a chance to win a Super Bowl, which I think it's tough for the past experiences that I've had to compete with that moment. But really grateful to have had an awesome journey in professional sports that led me here almost 6 years ago.
Absolutely. And were you there also then 6 years ago? Were you there also for the loss?
I was not. I came right after. So I think that I might be a good luck charm.
I'll take that. Absolutely. That's awesome. And it's also exciting. Your name is spelled just Rams, but with an extra letter in there. And that's really exciting as well. So I think it's a good sign.
It was like it was done.
Absolutely. So we're actually here today to talk about the Green Action League, which is currently underway. It has been going on since the 11th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We got until December 1st. So can you kind of briefly explain what this is and kind of how this began?
Yeah, we're really excited. We're partners with Ball Corporation, who's been an incredible partner with us as we continue to lean into sustainability and how we can continue to be a great partner and teammate to our planet. And we've done a lot of different initiatives together. And we were so lucky that they were able to bring us this opportunity to align with the other KSC teams, including the Denver Nuggets, the Colorado Avalanche, and Arsenal, on this kind of competition-like challenge in which we're promoting to our fans to really lean in and do these sustainable challenges, the opportunity to win prizes and experiences with the different teams, which has been awesome. And, it launched last year with Arsenal with the Green Gooners Cup, which was super successful, and just seeing, literally worldwide how impactful that was. So we wanted to take it a step further this year and collaborate and team up with all of our teams to make greater impact and bigger results, and hopefully have some fun with it with our fans too in this family-like competition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to see like some of the pictures that have been kind of included. But yeah. I'm looking at the leaderboard here right now, and the Aluminum Avs are in first place, but the Recycling Rams in last by what I would consider a pretty decent gap right now. So feels like we need the Rams fans to come in clutch here. What are some quick, easy ways that people can get involved?
Yeah, so we're really, again, pushing the campaign through a lot of different verticals, through social and digital. There's different ways to sign up, going to recyclingrams.com to be able to sign up, to be able to engage with these different activities. Like I said, win some awesome prizes, but also while being good to your planet at the same time. And they're a lot of fun, right? It's not just, doesn't have to be individual. It doesn't just have to be one person. You can have competitions with your family, your friends. I know that Rams fans out there are very competitive. So we're hoping to see some more signups here as we compete against, like I said, our our KSE family, but different ways in which you can compete, and even on a school level, getting your schools involved and your classrooms involved, to really make it fun and engaging. We want this to be something that feels community-like, that has that camaraderie and that excitement in it. So we're hoping that our fans will continue to lean in and compete with us.
Of course, yeah, and there's so many simple ways to get involved. I was kind of surprised by that going through the list, but I wanted to kind of see, because I know there's like making sure your dishwasher's all the way filled up, which is something I did at work today, and then drinking from a reusable coffee cup, or making sure you're using aluminum. But what are some of like the more impactful ways that people can help out that really make a big difference?
Yeah, what I really love about this program and what we're doing is exactly the point you just made. You see through this campaign really in your everyday life how you can continue to help our planet in ways that you didn't even realize create impact, right? You're like, oh, the dishwasher or a reusable coffee cup, etc. But other ways, such as, recycling aluminum, or drinking instead of out of maybe a plastic water bottle, an aluminum reusable water bottle, which I know are all the fad these days, right? I think everyone has like 10 reusable water bottles in their cabinet. I know that I do. So it's just those little things, right? And how we can just really take each little thing day by day that creates long-lasting impact. And also kind of some fun ways too, right? Is you can go to SoFi Stadium and attend a game and go to the recyclaw, or recycle your aluminum ball cup in the reversible vending machine, and engage and bring football and sustainability together on game day. So there's a lot of variety in how you can make impact. And I think that what this campaign brings to life is really so much throughout your day, little and small, that can really make the difference.
Absolutely. You mentioned, SoFi Stadium, and I did the tour of SoFi last month when I was out there for the Packers game, and kind of hearing about some of the sustainable stuff that they do there. But as far as this campaign goes, a game day, which we have one this weekend, that you can kind of hang out at SoFi for the bulk of the day. I was trying to think of like what would be kind of an ideal day to stack as many points as you could this weekend at the game. And I think that would start with carpooling to the game would be a great one, because that is on that list as well. And then you kind of mentioned some others you said recyclaw. What is that?
It's awesome. What I love about Ball is the way that they really are innovative and creative on how we can contribute and give back from a sustainable standpoint, but while gamifying it, making it engaging, right? Building better habits for our fans and doing it through a way that's fun. So when you do the recyclaw, you put in your item into the machine, and then you actually get to, kind of like an 80s arcade game, get to have the claw that has a prize, and you get to win at the end of the day. So it's kind of like a fun little scavenger hunt to find these things throughout the stadium, like the recyclaw, like the RVM on our level 8. Ball does an incredible activation on our AA Plaza with the football toss that has a recyclable, a cage in which you can recycle, and a lot of fun activities associated with recycling. So we're lucky to have a partner who wants to come into that space with us, encourage our fans, and then also have fun while doing it.
Absolutely. That's going to be there on December 8th, correct?
Oh, yes, it will be.
Okay.
Every home game, we have all of these elements in the different areas. Like I said, with the recyclaw on our level 6, our RVM on level 8, and then on AA Plaza, we have our football toss competition, where fans toss the football into our Ball corporation bins, and then have the opportunity to recycle there as well. So, and to your point on the front end of this question, right, there's other ways of making impact, carpooling, and all these other different ways. Start your day off, like you said, with a reusable coffee cup. Bring your water bottle that's reusable. There's so many different things, like I said, that I think this campaign brings to life, which is super exciting.
Absolutely. So I don't mean to brag here, but I ask about December 8th specifically because that is the Bills game. That is the game I selected because I won one of the weeks last year in the Rams pick'em game and got to pick a game.
Oh, good,
So,
good. Well, you picked a good one. It will be a
oh,
great matchup.
yeah.
There's nothing like some good energy with that matchup, coming in with two powerful offenses. So it'll be, you picked a good one. You picked a good one.
Absolutely. And get to see Super Bowl champion Von Miller make his return. That'll be fun as
Right?
well.
Well,
Yeah.
we move on. So
Yeah. Vaughn is top tier. So
the other side of the field, but we're ready
yeah.
for him.
I hope he loses that day, but I still support him. For anybody who's maybe a little hesitant to start in, maybe they're kind of thinking of this and like, oh no, I don't really want to do that. There's actually though some really cool perks included if you can stack up your points. If
Yeah.
you really start, pushing for it. So what are some of like those prizes that maybe get some people excited to hop in?
Yeah, there's a lot of really great prizes. There's the ultimate VIP experience, which is VIP seats, all inclusive, field passes, VIP tailgate, etc. So kind of your like dream day at a Rams game, which is amazing and not always available. So these are also some money can't buy experiences that we wanted to include because we wanted to make it special, and an exciting prize to win. And then looking at things from signed jerseys to signed footballs to gift cards and other really cool Rams prizes as well that I think will make it worthwhile to try to compete for.
Some of those prizes I was looking at and was like, all right, I got to figure this out. I got to score some points. What am I doing out here? Has there been any entries or any like really creative ways people have gotten involved so far that maybe you didn't expect?
Yeah, I think what's so fun about it is when people come together and create their own mini leagues. Like, I think that's awesome to be able, like, they kind of create it's almost like their own fantasy football league, but for recycling, which is what you can do on the website. If you go to recyclingrams.com, you can kind of create these mini leagues with your family or your friends. And I know how all fans are engaged from a fantasy football perspective. So I would love to see them get creative and competitive with how they can compete in this competition together.
Absolutely. And you said this started last year with the Green Gooners, and yeah, which is a great name. But so this is already kind of expanded coming into this year. Is this something you anticipate continuing?
Yeah, I think we're just super excited to be a part of it collectively with our family of KSC teams. And we're excited to, like I said, on the front end, make impact on a global scale with all of our properties. And so hoping that we have a really successful campaign together and we're creating big impact with a lot of participation and that fans are having fun. So we'll take a look at it and see if our fans enjoyed themselves, which I'm hoping they have thus far. I see a lot of points on there. And like I said, we on the Rams side, we're ready to jump in and get those points up. But excited to continue to collaborate with Ball on innovative and engaging campaigns and programs that can make impact, but also again come with a lot of excitement that our fans can participate in.
Of course, and I'm also I'm assuming here that you are participating. Has there been anything that has been like difficult to participate in?
I wouldn't say difficult. I think it's just continuing to keep it top of mind. And what's great about this campaign is it's also mobile, right? Take a photo from your phone, upload it. It's pretty easy. You don't have to be at your laptop or desktop. You can do it throughout the day. I think about how much I'm on social media and others are. So take one more step, take a photo, upload it, and get a chance to not only contribute and make impact, but also to get those points up and to get higher on that leaderboard.
Absolutely. It's recyclingrams.com. There's so much information on that page. You can get points by watching videos. It's so easy to get rolling. And then
videos of our awesome rookies who are having an incredible season. I am so proud. You see Jared Verse having big games. Braden had an incredible game last week. Cam Kitchens has had multiple interceptions to win us games over the past few weeks. You have obviously the Cardi Party with Josh, our kicker, who's done a great job. And then also Jordan and, the guys. And cannot forget Blake, because if you watch the videos, Blake and Jared competing against each other is pretty engaging and pretty entertaining. I recommend everyone to go watch it. We're very lucky that we have a group of guys who are so fun, so engaging, had a ton of fun on their own with this. Like that content was not scripted. It was just them being them and truly enjoying participating. So if anything, go watch and see a different side of our guys, right? Helmet off. I love some helmet off content and getting to see their personalities and their true competitive nature outside the field, which is just as big as what it is on the field. If you watch the recycling bin blitz, you'll see Jared and Blake go at it pretty intensely. It got down to the wire with who won that one. So Blake did, but Jared will tell you he didn't. It's really great just to kind of see the guys really be committed and involved, which has been awesome. And like I said, none of that was scripted. That was just them being themselves, having a great time, and being really excited to be a part of this campaign.
Absolutely. Jared has no off switch. I'm very convinced of that.
He does not. And the way he plays very big on the field, that personality translates right off the field. You'll see that in the content, and he's awesome. And we're so lucky to have him on our side of the field this year.
Definitely. Would not be wanting to go against him. So it's absolutely awesome. And of course, speaking of Jared and his intensity and the rest of the boys out there, we got a big old football game going on this weekend as the Philadelphia Eagles come into town for prime time. Do you have a score prediction for me?
I'm so bad at score prediction, but I do feel like it's going to be a very offensive driven game. And I'm really glad that we have a lot of guys back to come up and compete. And there's nothing like football under the lights at SoFi Stadium. So whatever the result is, it's going to be fun and it's going to be awesome. And like I said, there's really nothing like football under the lights and Sunday night football. So we're lucky and grateful for our third primetime game this year, and hoping to put on a big win and a great show for everybody.
Absolutely. Jared talked about it also the first time being under the SoFi lights for a primetime game. It was different, he said. Coming out of that tunnel, it just felt very, very different. He was very amped up right away. So we're expecting a big one this weekend. Yeah,
the fans, I think there's just a different energy when the lights go on, and we're there under the bright lights. And I think to your point with Jared, like the guys love it too. There's just a different level of intensity you'll see on the field. So we're really looking forward to it and looking to hopefully have all of our fans come out, engage with all of our awesome Ball Corporation activities and things we talked about today, and hopefully show them a good, like I said, give them a big win and put on a great show.
Absolutely. Get involved. It's super simple to get signed up. You can start stacking up points so easy by just sitting at your computer. You can get your first few points and just start, watching videos and getting that rolling. But help these recycling Rams come up. We're behind the Net Zero Nuggets, the Green Gooners, and the Aluminum Avs. So we gotta bring it up for the Rams fans. So go sign up. And where is the best way to find all this information? I know recyclingrams.com. Is there anywhere else that we can guide to?
Yeah, recyclingrams.com. You'll see it across some of our social media channels, and the rams.com, our main website. But recyclingrams.com is our main hub and competition and campaign. And you can go there. It's super easy to sign up and get us some more points. We're ready. We're ready to win.
Absolutely. Brittany, thank you so much for taking some time to talk about this. It is the Green Action League, recyclingrams.com. Make sure you sign up. And it's December 1st, so not much time to get these points stacked up, and maybe score yourself one of these sweet prizes like the ultimate game day experience going against the Seattle Seahawks division game later on this year. Brittany, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick break here on Ram Showcase. We'll get back to it after this quick break.
Welcome back into Ram Showcase. My name is Sheriff Joe Bags. A big thank you again to Brittany Ramos taking some time to sit and talk with me about the Green Action League. And if you would like to hop on in, you can follow along on my score on recyclingrams.com. as it is under Sheriff Joe bags. I got some photos I need to get in so I can get some points stacked up here. Cause yeah, I'm trying to get some. I'm trying to go to a game. All right, I know I'll be at the Bills game, but if I can get to a division game, which I've never seen in person, dude, sign me up, man. Sounds awesome. So, yeah, keep up with my score, and also, hey, just try to beat me, man. Because if you beat me and you get to go see Seattle get smoked by the LA Rams, then I'm stoked for you, man. Okay, this is all friendly competition here. I want to see you win just as much as I would like for me to win. All right, so keep that in mind. Let's get into our game preview. The Los Angeles Rams sitting at 5-5, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-2 this Sunday, SoFi Stadium, Sunday Night Football. 5:20 p.m. kickoff time on NBC. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark bringing you the info. For you radio listeners, we do appreciate you. Westwood 1 will feature Ryan Radke, Kurt Warner, and Scott Graham will be in studio. If you're heading out for the game, by the way, showers are expected in Inglewood on Sunday, but should be able to avoid getting wet if you are going to the game. Seems like the bulk of it will be early, but from everything that I'm seeing, there is still about 25-ish% chance leading into the game. So if you're heading out there, make sure you dress appropriately. The Rams, for you bettors, by the way, plus 2.5 points right now, so coming in as underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles. Moneyline, plus 126, the over-under, 48.5. Oh, pants picks for this one. The Rams back in the Royal, and yeah, only one of us can be right. So I'm going at the bone. Payo Time is going with the Royal, and Rams House is going with the Soul Pants. You can feel free to drop your pants picks below. The Rams now don't do it 24 hours out. They do it much earlier, usually a Thursday. So by the time you see this, we may already have that answer. But we already have them locked in. I record Wednesday, so I promise we don't know. Okay, but I do really wish the Rams would go back to the 24 hours of the letting us know the pants and stuff like that. Because now that little 24-hour notification pops up from the app, and it's like I've already seen all that stuff, so I don't even need to. I don't even open it anymore. I just clear it out, and that's kind of lame because I like opening that and then getting into all the chaos, man. But yeah, so drop your pants picks. Only one of us, though, coming out on top this week. We'll see what happens. The Eagles, by the way, have won their last 6. They were 2-2, and the Eagles did play on Thursday Night Football last week. So a little bit of a mini bye from them, and still fighting off Washington in their divisional race. So still pushing, and certainly something that we can still expect from Philly is wanting to get a home game. Philadelphia, obviously, the fan base out there, very intense, and a home playoff game for the Philadelphia Eagles has to be kind of in their mind all the time of get other teams there in January, you know what I mean? So obviously from our perspective, we would like to ruin that, but we'll see what we can do on Sunday Night Football, I suppose. History of this matchup. This is the 45th all-time meeting between the Rams and the Eagles. 3 of those games happening in the postseason. So the Eagles lead the all-time series 23-20-1. The Rams lost the most recent. That was on October 8th of last year, 23-14. The Rams did, though, win in 2020. I remember that game was absolutely awesome. 37-19. Tyler Higbee went off, dude. Had 3 touchdowns in that game. Absolutely awesome. I believe that's still his career high, if I'm not mistaken. Before that game, though, that 2020 COVID game, that's what, in my head, dude, I don't know why it is burned so into my head, Tyler Higbee dancing in front of an empty stadium. I don't even know what emotions I feel about that. I don't know if it's, like, scary. I don't know if it's, like, hilarious to me. I have no clue what emotions seeing Tyler Higbee do his little end zone dance in front of nobody does to me, man, but it does live in my brain. I think about it regularly, way more than I need to, but I don't know. Maybe I'm alone there, and that's okay. Before that game, though, the COVID game, Eagles won the previous 6. First ever game between these two came on September 21st of 1937. The Rams won that game 21-3, and that was the Rams' first ever franchise win. Pretty awesome stuff. The Rams got to 1-1 on that game. But that was the only game that the Rams won that year. But first ever win coming against the Philadelphia Eagles. Rams also, by the way, despite having 3 less wins than Philadelphia, have outscored the Eagles overall, 893-885. And also in this series, Rams and Eagles have met twice in NFC Championship games, 1-1. So The Rams, though, they went on to take on the New England Patriots in one of those Super Bowls, which still kind of just haunts me in a weird way of just knowing that like the whole Patriots Tom Brady dynasty started February 3rd against the Rams in a Super Bowl and pretty much ended February 3rd in a Super Bowl win against the Los Angeles Rams years later, dude. That's crazy to think that those two Super Bowls were like, that was the Patriots stretch of chaos. We needed to get back to the Super. Those were the rules. We had to, something was up, man. There's some kind of curse that needed to be lifted or something to get them back down to earth, man, which is where they're at now, coming off a loss to the Los Angeles Rams, of course. Some stuff that we're watching in this game. Eagles, like I said, coming in pretty hot after winning their last 6. But unlike Britney Spears, Nick Sirianni, man, he's done well since he shaved his head. That wasn't a whole meltdown. Turns out it was more of a get back together kind of situation. So, but the Rams come in off of a win, but another game that Rams fans feel like should have been a stronger performance against the New England Patriots. But I even said it last week during the game that the Rams were beating the Patriots and the Rams. Like there was a point there where it was like, we're beating two teams right now. We're winning this game. I don't understand how it happens, but it's wildly impressive. Philly's last 2 wins, by the way, have been decisive, but those were both divisional games. So I don't put a whole lot into decisive division wins. The Arizona Cardinals beat the butt cheeks off the Rams earlier this year. So, I mean, I don't look too deep into division blowouts because sometimes the team just gets you. Sometimes they come in with the perfect little plan. Maybe you come in a little light, whatever. But the Eagles off to Baltimore after this game as well. So a few tough games from the Philly perspective. And I don't even know. I have no idea what the Philadelphia Eagles side is thinking or saying in this. I don't know if they're coming in like, yeah, we're just gonna beat up on the LA Rams and move on, or if they're like, actually the Rams, this is gonna be a tough game. I don't know the perspective of the Eagles. We don't have an Eagles fan to talk to. We don't know any. All right. I do know a few, but I don't know if they would do the show. Probably wouldn't want to. It's okay. Maybe it doesn't matter. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. We'll start with the Rams offense going against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. The Rams offense officially ranking 27th in the league right now, going against the number 1 defense out of the Philadelphia Eagles, who are doing well, especially against the pass, second against the pass, against the run as well, though not giving up 100 a game, but almost ranking 7th. The Rams can throw the ball, 7th in the league there. And I would say not doing a poor job running, but just don't really try it as often as I think they should, ranking 26th. The Rams are putting up 21.3 games a game, or 21.3 points a game. That's 21st in the league. Eagles giving up 22. It's tied for 13th. And third down conversion rate, almost 34% for the Rams. That's 27th. And giving up almost 35 for the Philadelphia Eagles. That is 8th in the league. The Rams offense has definitely felt inconsistent, but it also has shown explosion. We saw that last week where there was some drives where it's like, okay, guys, what are we doing out here? Get this rolling, man. And then obviously then you get like the Cooper Kupp 69-yard touchdown pass. It's just absolutely incredible, stuff like that. And then even Puka had some incredible plays where he's like, what? How do you do that, man? That's because he's Puka. There's no explanation outside of that. Puka doing Puka things, man. So it's absolutely exciting, obviously, but we can do explosive things. This team is built to just blow it up at any time and can score from any spot on the field. We've definitely known that, though, under Sean McVay. Eagles defense, though, fast and aggressive. The Rams will need to match that if they would like to stay in this game. And ball control, I think, is really the key to this matchup. Don't let them burn all the clock with our young defense on the field and then force, what we know is maybe going to happen, which is Sean McVay, if he gets behind, gets a little pass happy, goes away from that run game, which is something that I think we need to really make sure that we are sticking to this game. And I know that typically the Rams defer. I would almost like to see the ball first in this game with a solid plan on how to attack that first drive. And ideally, in my head, the Rams open the game with the ball and just march it down, killing clock, all ready to start the game. You're just killing clock, making the whole Eagles offensive sideline, like they're all hyped up and stuff like that. And then they watch us do like an 8-minute drive. And they're just kind of like, okay, that's what I want to see so bad, dude. That's, I think, in my mind, absolutely ideal is going to be ball control in this one. Don't let our defense be on the field all day. and just hang on to it ourselves. Kyren, Blake, it's going to be a big one for those guys in my mind. Best matchup in this one, I'm going Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua going against Quinion Mitchell. Also, they do have Darius Slay, but I'm focusing on Mitchell here because Mitchell is the only guy who could catch verse in the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation and has to guard one of the sickest, slickest, meanest route-running wide receiver combos alive, dude. Good luck, Quinion Mitchell. I know he's played some good people, all right? I'm not going to try to say that he hasn't had some good talent to go against so far this year, but the way that Puka and Cooper are able to run routes and shake people, I mean, that's a tough ask, man, for a rookie. I don't care how good that rookie is. That is a tough ask. Verse has a tough matchup, too, in fairness, if we're talking about the D-Roy, kind of battle here. We'll hit on that here in a second, but let's not pretend like Kupp and Nacua aren't the real deal. And going against Mitchell, he's got his hands full for sure, man. Mitchell, by the way, having an incredible season. He's doing awesome. But Nacua and Kupp, they feel like they can just hit some kind of different stride with Stafford, and it feels like we're kind of seeing that develop at this time now. It feels like based on like last week, I would say that the Stafford to Kupp, Stafford to Nacua connection is back now, is what I would say. 3-2-C on the Rams offensive side of the ball. I'm going to start with D-Rob. Demarcus Robinson had a few games where he was absolutely going off. A couple of games scoring multiple touchdowns. Had only had one multi-touchdown game in his entire career entering the year. Already has multiple this year. Love to see that. He has quieted down statistically over the last few weeks. I do think his impact is being felt in the scheme. He is just getting less targets. When you've got 10 and 17 out there, I mean, you got to get those guys the football for sure. But with Darius Slay and Quinion Mitchell being on 10 and 17 on the outside, D-Rob will likely be covered up a lot by Cooper DeJean, the rookie corner as well. DeJean also having a really strong season, strong rookie campaign. But D-Rob is a smooth veteran, all right? And this should be a really fun one to watch because I feel like Cooper DeJean, as he's not playing poorly, D-Rob's a vet, and he's been around. He's been, he's been places, and he's done some really cool things. So I think that's going to be a really fun battle to watch, is D-Rob going against DeJean. Next up, we're going Matthew Stafford. I feel like I've put Matthew Stafford on here a lot this year because we all know to watch Matthew Stafford. We know that this dude's awesome. We know he's fun to watch. We know he's absolutely slinging it all the time, and it's just awesome. But going against one of the top passing defenses in the league, we got to have one of those Stafford games, man. One of those all-timers. One of those games where we look at it, we're like, oh my gosh, like this is a top-tier guy, man. He's one of the best in the league. We need to have that again. 9th in sacks as well for the Eagles defense, but this is, like I mentioned before, the first time that the Rams should have their top 5 offensive linemen out. With Big Rob returning, everybody's back. Love to see that, man. Absolutely love to see it. And under the lights at SoFi, against a team sitting in the 2 slot in the NFC playoff race, this could be one of those Rams are back kind of games, and that would greatly depend, I believe, in Matthew Stafford's ability to just absolutely dissect this defense. Because if he can do that, if he can put up like a game where he's got like 336 and 3 touchdowns or something like that, I think that a lot of eyeballs are going to be pointing over to the Rams. Especially this game is a standalone primetime Sunday Night Football. God, I love it. Next up on the 3-C here, final one is going to be Kyren Williams, K-Dub. Not to outdo the pass, the Eagles' defense is really strong against the run as well. Just a strong overall defense. Kyren does well when he gets the ball often, and he was really, really turning it up late against the New England Patriots. That was really cool to see. You even saw a few where he knew he was almost out of there. He gets tackled, he gets up I love those because he was just about to explode on that one. But the run game, I think it's going to be critical in this game, like I had mentioned. With the Eagles, they're doing a great job in time of possession as well. Running the ball, though, they're one of the top running teams that we'll get into here in a moment. But time of possession is going to be something that the Rams do need to worry about in this game and try to limit when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles side. So getting Kyren rolling will be huge for this Rams team this weekend. And the advantage here, I'm going to Philly. I'll give the advantage to Philly. Their rankings are solid. They have a really solid young roster. They've got really good players. So I'll give them that advantage mainly because of the rankings and the fact that this is really the first game. Well, it's not even yet actually because we're still down Tyler Higbee. but we have our first game now. We're only down to one guy missing on offense. That's huge, right? So once we get Higgs back, then everybody will, of course, be back. It seems like we'll have a few more weeks for him, hopefully sooner rather than later, but then we'll have everybody back. But obviously, Davis Allen, I think he's doing a fine job. And Colby Parkinson getting that touchdown and sweeping the leg, dude. That was pretty cool. I mean, I'm not rooting for anybody to get like hurt on the sidelines or anything like that, but that was fun to watch. Touchdown, I was like, yes, dude. Super cool, super cool. Let's flip over to the other side here. We got the Eagles offense going against the Rams defense. The Eagles offense is a top 5 unit. The Rams defense ranking 23rd at this time. Both are ranking 22nd, so pretty even here. 22nd for the pass attack of the Eagles and 22nd for the pass defense of the Rams. Running the ball, this is going to be a tough one here as Saquon and Jalen Hurts make up the number 1 rush attack out of Philadelphia. The Rams sitting just below middle of the field, ranking 18th. Points being put up. The Eagles are putting up almost 26. That's 7th in the league, and Rams giving up a little over 24. That's 22nd. Third down conversion rate. 41.2 for the Philadelphia Eagles is 11th, and the Rams are dead center, giving up almost 38% of the opponent's third downs, 16th in the league there. The Rams defense has been really top tier since the Packers game, and there are some games that I do think are kind of skewing those averages a little bit. Like if you look at the Arizona game, if you remove that Arizona game, this Rams defense like jumps like right away in the rankings. But obviously you can't do that. It happened, so you can't just remove stats and all that. But ever since that Packers game, this defense has been really, really on. And Eagles offense definitely no slouch, and plenty of big names to worry about. I mean, the outside corners have their hands full. This run defense has its hands full. We got Saquon out here. We got A.J. Brown. We got Devontae Smith. I mean, this is a loaded team that can definitely do some damage to you. But we know those guys. We know A.J. Brown. We know Devontae Smith. We know Saquon Barkley. We know Jalen Hurts. So I want to talk about some other guys going in, some other battles here that I just think are a little bit more interesting. So best matchup on the defense for the Rams, Jared versus Jordan Mailata. And this is a great matchup. Mailata is having an incredible season at left tackle, but Jared Verse is the clear-cut defensive rookie of the year and could end up getting a Pro Bowl nod. Maybe second team All-Pro. I don't want to throw too much out there, but I'm just saying, man, he's absolutely playing incredible. Unstoppable force, meet immovable object, man. Under the SoFi lights, this is the stuff, my guy. Like this is what I get fired up for, man. This is why I do this stuff, man. Absolutely incredible. You have top tier versus top tier. Let them go at it all game. I love this stuff. Your 3-2C for the Rams defensive side of the ball, though. We're going to start with Omar Speights, inside linebacker, undrafted rookie. He is from Philadelphia, and his family is actually flying out for this game. It's the first regular season game that his family will be in attendance for, coming out to SoFi Stadium. That's got to mean he's going off, right? He's just going to show out in front of the fam. I'm feeling it, man. Omar Speights, keep your eyeballs on him on this one. Showing up in big in front of the fam. Would absolutely love to see that. Cam Kinchins. Cam, coming off another big day. Another big day. NFC Player of the Week. Not Rookie of the Week. Player of the Week. He's done that twice. Absolutely incredible. Closed out the game last week with that INT. Absolutely incredible. And Cam, man, I think that ultimately I'm putting Cam here because I am loving his story so far in this season for the Rams. He started the season, and then we saw Jalen McCullough, or Tank McCullough, as I found out they call him on the Rams Revealed this week with Darius Williams. Didn't know that. That's cool, though. Love it. But McCullough absolutely blown up, and now Cam's blown up. How do the Rams do this, man? It's absolutely incredible. I'm a big, big fan of this. But this 2024 Rams, this team is really fun to watch, and it's because of guys like Cam Kinchins. Is this the best Rams team of all time? No, probably not. I mean, in fairness, the story is not complete. What if we just never lose again and go to the Super Bowl and win it? Like, then we have to consider that this is. But, I mean, the story's not complete, but we've also had some really, really top-tier teams. That 2021 Rams team, unreal, dude. Unreal. Even looking back at it now, seeing like Eric Weddle and Von Miller and OBJ, it's like, dang, man. Like, that was fun, man. Let's do that again. That was cool stuff. But this team, it's fun to watch, man. It makes me excited, too, about what the future kind of holds for this team. because we have so many young guys who are such like a good core that like imagine when Kobe, Byron, Jared, and Braden on the defensive front have multiple years under their collective belts. What happens when Jalen McCullough, Cam Kinchins, and these guys are just like the sickest safeties of all time. And also, like we're still missing John Johnson, who was playing like one of the best safeties in the league before he got hurt. Where does he even fit back in when he's healthy? Like that's kind of where we're sitting. I don't understand how anybody is like, we're dead. This team, no, we're dead. It's over. Like, I'm so fired up that and maybe I'm alone, dude, but it's people like Cam Kinchins that I'm like, I don't know how you guys can be down this season, man. I'm hyped as heck, and I'm having a great time, man. Even if we don't, go all the way and all that stuff, this has been so much fun, man. In a season we lost Aaron Donald where we're all just like, no. And then we bring in some sick players like this, man. I mean, that's all you can ask for. I mean, nobody's going to play forever. So this is all you can ask for. Absolutely incredible. Final one on the 3-C defensive side. We're going to go with Braden Fisk. Fisky. The tush push. That's why. That is why I'm putting him in here, all right? I did originally slot in Kobe Turner here because I like the idea that Kobe has been through a week of practice alongside Aaron Donald in preparation to stop plays such as that, such as just last year, these guys together doing it. But Fisk, he might be built to stop this play. Braden Fisk is the build and the kind of player who seems like if there's a guy you want on your team to stop a play like that, feels like it's Braden Fisk. Fisk can get low. He can allow guys like Kobe and Bobby to use their big bodies and get leverage if he can get low on those guys. And then the rest of the gang just starts pushing, man. You bring in a Roseboom, a Spates, Verse, Byron, like I feel decent about it, all right? And obviously that's a very, very tough play to stop, but I like it, man. And Fisk going against Cam Jurgens, I on that specific play, man, I think it's something that I would say I hope we get to see it. That's it. I think that's where I'm at with it. Even if it's just like 1 4th down that we get to see it, because like obviously this play is like it's not very riveting from a spectator perspective. That's a weird way to say it. From a spectator perspective, that feels like an Eminem lyric, but it's not fun to watch. So entertainment value is terrible on it, but it is definitely a good football play. I'll say that because it's just brutes on brutes. So absolutely exciting there. But either way, Braden Fisk, I think that if the Eagles try to pull out this play, I think Braden Fisk is going to be a very important piece of the Rams to stop that side. Take a look at some connections here. As former Rams on the Eagles, just quarterbacks coach Doug Nussmeier. He was the Rams quarterbacks coach 06 to 07. And I'm not here to talk trash about Doug, okay? Just saying, not exactly the sickest quarterbacking years of the Rams. That's all I'm saying, all right? Former Eagles who were on the Rams, senior defensive assistant Sean Desai. He was the DC out there just last year. Some NFL connections for you. Matthew Stafford and Jonah Jackson played in Detroit with cornerback Darius Slay. That only happened for 1 year, 2020. Tyler Johnson played in Tampa Bay with tackle Fred Johnson. Tyler Johnson also played in Houston with defensive tackle Thomas Booker IV and safety Tristan McCullum. K-Dot played in Pittsburgh with quarterback Kenny Pickett as well. So he was protecting Pickett now. Well, he won't be personally destroying his life because Pickett probably also won't play, but still fun. In college, few connections here. We have Bobby Brown played at Texas A&M with punter Braden Mann and wide receiver Aniyah Smith. That was a very, very fun A&M team to watch. I'm a Texas A&M fan, Giga Maggies. And there was a push there for Braden Mann, who was playing unreal as a punter. He was nailing it. And there was a bunch of like A&M conversations of like, Braden Mann for Heisman, man. The punter, let's get the punter the Heisman because he was absolutely killing it. And it was a very like Johnny Hecker-ish with like the way he was playing in college. It was top tier. And for a Rams fan and Texas A&M fan to have both those punters, I mean, I will brag about having my teams having the sickest punters in the league. All right, I will do that. I am not above it. And Aniyah Smith, super speedy. If he gets in there, speed is his game for sure. Demarcus Robinson played at Florida with quarterbacks coach Doug Nussmeier. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, so he was D-Rob's OC in college. And tackle Fred Johnson was there as well. Davis Allen and Tyler Davis, a couple of Davises, Davi? I don't know. Played at Clemson with running back Will Shipley and linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who I absolutely love that he plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Super, super cool stuff there. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, they were rocking together at FSU with wide receiver Johnny Wilson. Tutu Atwell, the Tutu train. He played at Louisville with offensive lineman Mekhi Becton. Big boy there. Tutu, not so much, but the speedster. Troy Reeder, he played at Penn State with running back Saquon Barkley. Troy Reeder is on IR right now, so he won't be in this game, but does know Saquon. Christian Roseboom played at South Dakota State with tight end Dallas Goddard. Didn't think we were going to get into South Dakota State today, did ya? Deshaun Johnson played at Toledo with Quinion Mitchell, as well as linebacker Dallas Gant. And Omar Spates, he played at LSU with safety Andre Sam. Some pretty cool stuff there. And then we have milestones here for you. Some pretty cool ones, all right? So I love this. I love looking at where guys are at on the rankings and like where they're at in team history and NFL history. I have so much fun digging into that stuff. I'll look at it for hours, and sometimes I'll forget to take notes. Sometimes I'm just studying and being like, oh, that's cool, and then just move on. And I'm like, oh, I should probably talk about that. I have a podcast about this, But Matthew Stafford, he is officially 10th all-time in passing touchdowns in NFL history, officially passing Eli Manning. He had the 4 this past Sunday. He also, speaking of 4 touchdown passes, 7th most games with at least 4 touchdown passes, passing Big Ben, and officially tying Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Johnny Unitas. Puka Nacua, his 117 receiving yards in the first half last week were the most in a half in his career. And the most in a half by a Rams receiver since Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, we also forgot he was a 2021 LA Ram. He had like a 120 in the second half. What was week 3 in Tampa? Don't quote me on that. I might be right, but I'm not confident enough to say for sure. But yeah, Puka Nacua, man, nailing it that first half. He was on fire. And 7th Rams player, Puka Nacua, is to score 7 receiving touchdowns in their first 22 games. Most recently done by Cooper Kupp. You may have heard his name. Speaking of Cooper Kupp, this is going to be his 99th career NFL game. And by the way, he did reach sole 3rd place in Rams history in receiving touchdowns. He is now officially only behind Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. He did pass Elroy Hirsch in that regard. So, yeah, one of the best 3 receivers this team has ever seen. Statistically speaking, I mean, he's top-notch on everything, and obviously not only the player, Cooper Kupp, is top tier and absolute pinnacle, but the human being of Cooper Kupp, maybe better than the player of Cooper Kupp, which is saying so much. Cooper Kupp, top tier kind of human being, for sure. He's also the first player in NFL history to record at least 600 receptions, at least 7,500 receiving yards, and at least 50 receiving touchdowns in their first 100 games. And he's got 2 more to go until that deadline hits. Kupp also officially has more games as a Ram with 100-plus receiving yards and multiple touchdowns than Torrey Holt. That's wild, huh? Pretty cool stuff there. And also needs 6 receptions in the next 2 games. So average 3 against Philadelphia and New Orleans. He would then pass Julio Jones for 3rd most in a player's first 100 games, NFL history. Sean McVay. Sean McVay needs just 1 regular season win to pass John Robinson for most regular season wins in franchise history. John Robinson, of course, our thoughts are with his family, as Sean McVay did pass him for all-time wins, including playoffs. Now has the opportunity to do it in a regular season. Can't think of a better person, a better milestone to pass and to show some respect for John Robinson and what he was able to do, not just for the Rams, but for Southern California sports. I know we've got a lot of USC fans here as well who also know him from his time there. And Jared Verse or Braden Fisk needs 1 sack on Sunday, so it has to happen this week, needs just 1 sack on Sunday to pass Aaron Donald, Byron Young, and Robert Quinn for most sacks in first 11 games in franchise history. These guys are individually off to an extremely hot start. Individually. The Rams got them both together, coming from college together. Dude, you can say whatever you want to say about the Rams and reaching for Fisk, whatever that means for awesome players. If you're reaching for dudes who have a huge impact on your team, then sure, we reached for Braden Fisk. I'll take that, fine. But the Rams got a lot of hate for that. And I think that we're seeing now that not only, maybe it's one of those things where if Braden Fisk goes somewhere else, he's not as dominant. Maybe he needed Jared to be this guy. But either way, I think when the Rams made that move, and we've talked about that ad nauseum, all right, all regular season or all offseason heading into the regular season of like, it wasn't Braden Fisk alone that the Rams wanted. The deal and the trade was made to get Braden Fisk to play alongside Jared Verse. That was the point. And that is happening and absolutely killing it. So sorry about your quarterbacks, rest of the NFL, because the Rams are here to destroy their souls. Hate to break it to you. Philadelphia Eagles, Sunday Night Football, taking on the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium this week. Be there, dude. Be there. Check out the Recyclaw. That sounds so cool. I want to see it so bad. I can't. That's going to be the first thing I do when I get in there on the 8th. For sure, dude. Sounds so sick. We got fan quesos. That is head your way next, right here, Ram Showcase. Welcome back into Ram Showcase. My name is Sheriff Joe Baggs. We will get into our fan quesos here. Just got to pull them up. I have a great habit of being ready ahead of time, which is super cool for everybody involved. But let's take a peek here. So also did want to take a second to just, hey, a shout out to Kyle. All right. The fan quesos, they are called that. I had a comment recently that said that the name fan quesos is really stupid. And yeah, maybe. But without going into the full story of that, it is actually to honor one of my biggest supporters originally, back when I didn't have Rams Showcase, back when I was just writing about the Rams and then going into Rams Showcase that started in 2016. One of my very, very hardcore followers and ultimately friends via covering the Rams, and Kyle, Kyle Swanson was his name. But he unfortunately did attempt to take his life, and with complications out of that, he did pass away about a week later, and he would ask me questions about cheese. So that was my way to honor Kyle, one of my friends, one of my hardcore followers and supporters of Ram Showcase and the Sheriff Joe Baggs kind of idea. So that's why that is fan quesos. So I mean, you can make fun of it all you want to, but I'm not going to say that you're wrong for that or anything like that. But it's not going to change. Never going to change that. It's always going to be fan quesos, and it will always be in memory of Kyle. So take with that what you need to. Let's go ahead and dive in, though. Fan quesos here. First one's coming from Nick. Says, what's your opinion on why the Rams offense has been so inconsistent? I think it's been the injuries, man. I think it's been, because we want to look at the Dolphins game as like this game of like, oh, that was terrible. The Rams did an awful job. It's like that. It's like, yeah, but we also got 60% of our offensive line that returned off of IR that week. Joe Noteboom, Steve Avila, and Jonah Jackson all returning. K-Dot and AJ were the only ones that had already been there. So I think that's got to be considered in that, and I think that does need some what I would consider leniency. We need some leniency in there. And AFC losses are not going to completely derail you. I know that a lot of people kind of saw that loss specifically on Monday Night Football as like, oh, well, we're dead. Our season's over. And it's like, well, that's an AFC team. We're probably not going to see them again. It doesn't hurt you super hard when you're looking at playoff races. Obviously it hurts your overall record, but when you're looking at conference record, division record, stuff like that, obviously that's not part of it. So I do think that the injuries are, and getting guys back into the groove and the rhythm and stuff like that, I think that's why the Rams offense has been inconsistent. It's really hard to call consistent game plans too when you have absolute superstars who are getting hurt and then offensive line issues with aging quarterback who, needs to be upright to be able to find some guys. So I contributed all to that, man. The next string here are going to come from Cody. It says, do you think Kyron can do a reverse hurdle? I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, the dude's crazy athletic and super, super talented and extremely smart runner. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. We can't have Saquon doing that to any of our guys though this weekend, man. We can't have it. That would be terrible, man. Next one here from Cody. Can we contain a hot Saquon? And is Kyren Williams the key to doing that? For your second question, absolutely not. Because Kyren and Saquon will not see the field at the same time. So no, I wouldn't say that Kyren is the key to doing that. I think I understand what you're saying, and probably that's a time of possession kind of thing that you're referring to. But can we contain a hot Saquon? I do think so. I do think that this team is good enough to do that. And I think that we just need to make sure that the Shula game plan doesn't allow you to get burned, which is to watch the run, because they can run the ball real well, but they've also got two really good receivers on the outside. They can attack you through the air as well. So just to not let maybe the play action completely destroy your day, I think is going to be the most critical thing. As far as Kyren on that, obviously getting the ground game going, but I actually think Kyren I'm not worried about. I think it's more on the offensive line to make sure, and the play calling to make sure that we're calling the right plays at the right time to set up third and short and ultimately convert those short third downs. I think that's going to be a very critical part. But as far as the Saquon stuff go, I don't really relate the two right now, simply because I think that's a game planning thing for the Rams offense. It's not on Kyren on the Rams offense to keep Saquon off the field. It's a game planning situation to keep Saquon off the field. Next one here from Cody. Other than controlling time of possession with Kyren, what do you think we match up the best against the Eagles? First of all, I wouldn't say that we match up best against the Eagles in time of possession with Kyren, because we just haven't seen any evidence that we can do that, or that we will, or we're willing to do that. So I think that I wouldn't say that is the best matchup. What I would say is I like our receivers against their corners. I like Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, D-Rob, Tutu running routes against Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slay, Cooper DeJean. I like that. So I think that the biggest contributor on this game, even though we feel like it should be Kyren, I'm feeling very Stafford in this game as far as a big one. He's coming off of his probably best game of the season last week against the New England Patriots, who, call it what it is, not the best team in the league. It's not a team that's going to be pushing for the Super Bowl or anything like that, but he had a great game. And it wasn't the way that he was able to it's not finding just wide open dudes. He's reading really, really well right now. And it kind of feels like Stafford is really kind of peaking season-wise right now. Like, he's coming into just being super, super hot. So hopefully that continues. But I would say that is the best matchup that the Rams have against the Eagles this week. Thoughts on Jonah Jackson being benched for Bo, and how good can he be? Yep, I've got no issues with it, obviously, because I have no issues with what the Rams do, because what the heck would be the point of that? Be like, hey, I disagree with that. Nothing happens, you know what I mean? So who cares? But Jonah Jackson, though, obviously, I had higher expectations for him than what we've seen so far, but at the same time, hard to even say that. Dude, he's been hurt, so I don't even think we've legitimately seen Jonah Jackson be able to be at his best in the Rams offense, and I think that we're going to be really quick to move on from him, and it's not a thing with him to move on from him quickly, because he did get a decent enough payday where it makes sense to go ahead and move on from him, because we have Bo Limmer and KT Leviston coming back to practice today. Justin Dittich has played well as also. So, I think that Jonah Jackson doesn't necessarily fit in next year, but I'm glad we have him for the rest of this year, because I think it's a really good depth piece. So how good can Bo be, though? I think we see him get better every single week, and that's all you can really ask for. I talk about that all the time, about progression and regression. Players can get better, players can get worse. Just because a player plays a game a certain way doesn't mean that that's just how they're going to play the rest of games for the rest of time. People can get better. People can look at tape and be like, oh, I missed this. Oh, if I did this, I could have done that. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff happens. And I always bring up the example of, like, remember your first day at your job? How helpful were you? If the answer is still as helpful today than that day, then you're a terrible employee, all right? It's not the system. It's not that. That's you, dude, all right? So I think that Bo is getting better every single week. I'm excited to see where that kind of plateaus, but we haven't seen it yet. He continues to get better, and that's really all you can ask for out of any NFL player. These guys are professionals now, I mean, don't ask Anthony Richardson, who's a professional and stuff like that, but like these guys are pros, and to take it serious like that and to keep on improving, I think is exactly what pros do, and Bo Limmer is definitely doing that. I'm excited to see how far he can go with it, man, for sure. Next one here from Cody. Creed Humphrey who? I know what you're doing with this question, and I'm not going to let you do that because Creed Humphrey still would have been the better pick, all right? I like Tutu Atwell. I got his jersey in my closet right here. I got a signed headshot down here that I got from the Rams auctions, all right? I'm a Tutu fan, dude. All aboard the Tutu train. Creed Humphrey was the better selection, simply put. Even the Rams passed on Aaron Donald. Even though it worked out, still kind of went it wrong. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're trying to do with that question, but also Tutu has not exploded in the sense that that of like maybe what we thought his potential could be. I thought his potential could be a Tavon Austin, and I don't even think he's reached that level. And Tavon Austin never reached that real explosion, that real breakout. He had games where you're like, oh my God, Tavon, those men have families, but it didn't ultimately just like catch on and be consistent with it. But I mean, Tutu Atwell, his contract ends at the end of this year, and I'm not sure he returns. Obviously, we don't need to worry about that right now. We got a Week 12 game against the Philadelphia Eagles. We can talk about offseason stuff when it gets to offseason stuff. But Creed Humphrey, who? I understand what you're doing with that question, man. He still was the right pick. All right. But also, again, you can always look at any draft previously and redraft and find ways to improve your class. Always. You know what I mean? Like, how many people would have let Aaron Donald get down to the Rams? Not the Rams at 2. I know that much. Even we passed on him. You think Steven Jackson still goes 24 overall in the, was it the 04 draft? Probably not. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways we can do that, man. And retrospect on drafts is, I mean, that's something we can, that's always a game to play, but it feels like a very off-season game to play because we got games to talk about. So I'm not talking about like what ifs on a draft that happened years ago. Creed Humphrey, though, I mean, he's a great offensive lineman. He would have been the better pick. And we clearly know, too, like, you can never have too many offensive linemen. So, yeah, there's that part. And how about the potential matchup of Cooper versus Cooper this week? We probably won't see it a whole lot because and I'll tell you, if the Eagles are smart, and not to say that Cooper DeJean is like a bad player or anything like that, but if the Eagles are smart, they will make sure that Slay or Mitchell is handling the bulk of the duties, trying to cover one Cooper Kupp, who is one of the best in the NFL for sure. Let's see here. All right. We have on the YouTube channel, we have people answering other people's questions. GP Shadow and Payo Time are hopping in on each other's questions and answering. So that's pretty cool, man. Let's see here. Situation. I like this one from Payo Time. You're in a bar or coffee shop. Bar. You know what? I'll stick with your question. Coffee shops are cool too, but you're wearing your best Rams merch. Someone comes up to you and says they are a disgruntled fan of another NFL team. Example, Jets, Cowboys, 49ers. They tell you that they are thinking of denouncing their fandom of that team, but ask for 5 reasons to become a Rams fan. What do you say? I give them 0 reasons to become a Rams fan. I disagree with changing your team, no matter how bad it gets, because there was a situation there where the Rams won 6 games in 3 years, 07, 08, 09. I was in high school for that time. Dead miserable. Okay. And I've never even in that gap even let it enter my brain of potentially switching teams. So I would let that person know. I would say that. I would say you got to stick with them, man. Because all you need, if you're a Jags fan who is just, sick of getting there's dirt kicked right up your nostrils, man, then just wait. Just wait. That's my best advice. It's my worst advice. It's my most unfortunate advice, but it worked for the Rams. We came from Jeff Fisher to Sean McVay. What a change, dude. I was just saying that with another team too. I can't even remember who it is now. Oh yeah, that was last week. We were talking with Ken from Ken's Pats Talk about the change from going from Bill Belichick to Gerard Mayo, and I kind of equated that to going with from an older guy in Jeff Fisher to a younger guy in Sean McVay. And I would just caution them that, man, because also we're getting rumors and stuff like that maybe Bill Belichick goes to the Jags next year, so maybe that turns it around, dude. I don't know, but I don't believe in switching teams. And I don't know if that's a fault of my own, but also, I've said this before, I've said it a bunch of times, I'm also not here to tell anybody how to be a fan. So if somebody, though, if they were like, what I would say for your question, Peo, I feel like I'm taking a lot of time on this one. What I would say for your question is if somebody came up to me and they weren't really football fans and they wanted to get into it and asked me about the Rams and asked for 5 reasons to become a Rams fan, I don't know if I have 5 off the top of my head, but I would just let them know it's really fun. All right. The Rams are one of the best teams in a social media aspect of involving fans and getting fans to feel a part of it. Best stadium in the entire NFL. So home games are an absolute blast, top tier. If you haven't done the tour, Peo, I know you have. You gotta absolutely do that, man. I would say that the Rams content creation, as far as Rams revealed, behind the grind, between the horns, these things are absolute pinnacle. And I watch a lot of things from other teams. I watch a lot of those. The behind the grind for the Rams, almost every team has a version of that. And I watch those. And behind the grind, maybe it's the Rams fan in me, but also I'm just a media person who likes editing videos and creating content and filming and stuff like that. And behind the grind is top tier. It's top tier. So I would say that the Rams are just such a fun team to be a fan of. And as it's not always great, it's not always a bunch of dubs and stuff like that, but it is absolutely awesome. It's so much fun to be a Rams fan. So I would just tell them that and then let them pick on their own. Because then I would also tell them, like, yeah, but like the Packers are historical. Like, I would go over a bunch of stuff, not just the Rams. Rams fans are awesome and my favorite kind of people and stuff like that, but like, I support football fandom entirely, so I'm here for all of it. What are your thoughts on Omar Speights after a few games? Has he met the preseason hype yet? I say yes. I say absolutely he has. I think he's playing incredible. Considering, and I see your comment here says that you're not quite there yet, but he's looking pretty good. Undrafted free agent. And for how he's playing as an undrafted free agent, yeah, I think he's outplaying expectations of what we could have hoped for, and he's also getting better. So if we saw him come in and he's playing okay, and then like every game he's just playing okay, then I would be on your side on that one. But because we keep seeing the progression, I'm saying yes. Next one here is going to come from Peo Time. I've got your question slotted in for next week. I talk to you about that. It doesn't matter here. What are your thoughts, what are your letter grades mid-season for all phases, defense, offense, and special teams? Peo's grades here are higher than what I will give. My defensive grade, that's a hard one. I'm going to go with a B-, but that's because the start of the season was pretty rough for the Rams. On offense, I'm going to go with a C for the Rams offense, but that's because I feel like with Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, and Sean McVay calling the plays, this team should be a top 10 offense every year with these guys. So I do think that they're underperforming considering our talent. Special teams, I'm going to go with a B+ here, and that is only because of Cardi's missed field goals, and some of them are starting to make me a little bit nervous. We love Cardi on Wayne. When it's time to Cardi, we will Cardi hard. Cardi party, all that good Cardi stuff, dude. But he is like the last week specifically is a great example. 2 very close but made extra points, then a miss, and then a good make. So it's like every time he's kicking it now, there's a little bit of like, at first, to open the season, it was like, yeah, he's good. Yeah, we're good. Now, though, it's like, but I still like him. I got a signed pylon right here. Joshua Cardi, got that from the Rams auction site as well. You haven't checked that out, by the way. It's so sick. I got to stop getting on there because I'm going to be broke, but it's really fun. But that's my grades there for you. Thank you so much for your questions. Feel free to get those in anytime. You can follow at Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags. You can shoot those over to me, ramshowcase@gmail.com. If you are interested in helping out Ram Showcase in the social media sense, please reach out to me. We'll go ahead and get you hooked up there at ramshowcase.com as well. You can keep up with the action there. And again, reach out, man. I need some help. Please help me a little bit. Guys, I'm tired. It's so hard to do alone. I have a full-time job. Come hop on, man. It's good stuff. Good fun here. But that is going to do it for me. Thank you again. Massive shout out to Brittany Ramos helping me out, having a conversation about the Green Action League. Make sure you get signed up for that. RecyclingRams.com, RamShowcase.com, and follow on socials. Like I said, at Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fan-Sided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.